Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. So we do have Councilmember Thielen joining us remotely, as long as technology works. Tarek's working with him there. If he gets logged in and everything is able to participate due to the open meeting law requirements, we will do everything by a roll call vote. If he cannot access it, then we will just proceed as though he's not here. We'll take that as we get to our first vote. Starting with our council activity reports, I don't have any committees or anything like that to report on. It's been quiet for me. I did attend the tree lighting last Saturday, which seemed to be well attended. So thank you to Megan for putting that all together, and that's all I've got. Neil.
I had nothing either. I did attend the Green Roof monthly meeting on the 15th. And their biggest thing, they had the Christmas bazaar sale. They said it was successful. Still a few items left if people are looking. And they're making good progress on the three-place garage.
Good deal. Great. Megan.
I had the EDAP meeting. We discussed the hotel study and just various other economic developments around town. I attended the PD's presentation on different types of scams, which was really interesting. And then had the tree lighting, so it's great to see a lot of people there.
Jean.
I also had the EDAP meeting, and I went to the tree lighting, and then I had planning commission,
Great.
where we just had a hearing. It's on the agenda, Joshua Flats.
All on?
Nope.
Okay. We will move on. Department head reports. Ron.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I was asked today why the flags are at half-staff. If anybody doesn't know, that is for Rosalind Carter. Let's see, compost site, we are going to close that on December the 4th. So through the 3rd, you can go out there and use it. I'd also like to thank Roto Chopper for coming out, and they chipped all the wood that we had out there. So there's some very large piles. If anybody does need or want wood chips, they are out there. Donations at the compost so far this year is roughly $1,450. The RV dump donations are just under $1,100. Out at the parks, reservations again. The Veterans Park, we had 28 of them over the summer. There was 11 at the gazebo, and the kayak rentals are at 209. So for the first year, they're very happy with the number of kayak rentals that we did have. Remember, the park survey is still out there and open, and then we're going to leave it open until the first of the year. So if anybody wants to submit their survey and put their 2 cents worth in. Also, we're working on the Ampey Park shelter design, reminder of winter parking regulations. Our part-timers are going to be, their last day is Thursday this week, so that will be the end of them. Irrigation system obviously is completed. So this year we did irrigate 271 million gallons. That's an average of 7.5 inches per acre. The majority of farmers, they were wishing for more, but they had some actually good results on crop yield. So they are happy. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Ron? Okay, Tarek.
Yes, all right. We had a discussion, Ron, I forgot, on the chloride with the Stearns County Soil and Water Conservation District, and just, to see what's available and what plans are coming up with on that. Attended the planning meeting with Jean and EDAP as well, with Jean and Megan. And then also the police fraud detection presentation. I thought that went very well, and I think Neil, you attended one of them too. And then just an update on the fire truck that I heard from Chief Soini today. They realized that one of the doors needed to have have an assisted opening on it because the latch was so heavy. So they are installing that. That wasn't part of the original quote. That's coming in just under $5,000. So they are proceeding with that, and it should be before it's finished.
Any questions for Tarek? Right. Still no Paul?
I'm gonna reset this here.
Right, then we have our public open forum. Is there anybody here for the open forum period? Okay, if you want to take the podium, we'll now open that. Anyone can talk to us about anything. We've dedicated up to 10 minutes for this period, and the time will be evenly divided between those wishing to speak. We won't take any action on any matters raised during the forum. We may have questions regarding statements made or may otherwise respond, but we will not take a vote or make any decisions on anything. Anything raised or discussed may be referred to city staff or to an appropriate committee for further evaluation. Thank you.
Okay, hi. My name is Erica Rinke. You probably know me because, you know, I'm his wife. So you've seen me around a lot over the last 5 years, but I want to point out that I'm not here as his wife tonight. Tonight, I am an individual citizen of Painesville and resident. So, not here because of him. So, I'm here, my own person. Now, as for why I'm actually here, I'm here tonight to talk about Saturday night's Christmas tree lighting. And I'm not going to sugarcoat things. So if you think that event was a success, I'm going to tell you it was not. It was a success in the event that a Christmas tree ended up being lit. But beyond that, not so much. And I'm here because I am angry. So whoever organized that event did not consider the basic safety of the attendees when doing so. That event was a safety hazard. I attended with Sean and 3 small children, all under the age of 6. Pulling up, we saw some Christmas lights strung up on on the picnic shelter, but that was it. And it was dark. We got out of our car and immediately had 3 kids that scattered into a pitch dark park. And keep in mind, we had been out of town for 4 days. I had no idea what was set up in the park, how many people were there, or even where the extra large Christmas tree was. And it was pitch black because it was 5:22 and sunset had been at 4:40 something. And the only lights there that were lit up were on the dinky little picnic shelter so that the people getting coffee could see their coffee. And my kids were gone. So we split up to look for the kids. And it took us at least 5 minutes to find them. I don't know if you've ever lost your kids, but 5 minutes to find 3 kids is a long time, especially when you've got 20 other kids running around in the dark. So during our 5-minute search, we were informed by multiple people that, hey, look, there's cords lying on the ground. You probably shouldn't trip over that. And hey, look, there's guide wires holding up the tree. Probably should watch out for that too. And there's a lot of people telling me all of these things. Meanwhile, I'm still trying to find my kids. Eventually, we did find the kids. They were on the swings. Thank God. Now, I have some opinions on other ways the event could have been more successful, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here because it was too dark, and I lost my kids. And that makes me really, really mad. So, I understand it was a lighting event. We're supposed to have, lights that come on. But any kid that has nightlight can tell you that you can have it be dark and have a little bit of light at the same time. And we needed to have a little bit more light. So it was downright dangerous for anybody in that park. And there should have been some ground lights. There should not have been wires and cords that people could have been tripping over. Or, you know what, even if there had been wires and cords, they should have been illuminated so that people could have seen them instead of tripping over them. And I know that I was not the only parent concerned with losing my kid, because I heard other parents talking about it. And this was just downright dangerous on Saturday. Eventually I found my kids, and it was fine. But I've been stewing about it for 2 days, and it made me mad enough to come here. So I said my piece, and I hope you take my feedback into consideration. So that's it.
Thank you, Erica. We'll be discussing that event later on in our agenda, so I think we'll probably circle back to your comments then, unless anybody has any questions for Erica at this time.
No, I appreciate your feedback.
I'm gonna go home now.
Okay, Paul, are you able to hear us? You're on mute, sir.
Unmute Paul.
Okay. All right, he can hear us, he just can't speak. At some point, I'll need you to try and unmute, and when we get there, we'll go. Okay, and then we've got the adoption of our consent agenda, which include the minutes on page 1 of our agenda, vouchers totaling $231,155.50. Anybody willing to make a motion to approve the consent agenda, or anybody want something pulled?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Brick, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Hertzberg. All right, Paul, since you can hear us, we're going to do this by a roll call vote, starting just to my left. Neil?
Yes.
Megan?
Aye.
Gene?
Aye.
Paul? Aye.
Got a thumbs up.
Tarek, can you ask him to unmute? Maybe that'll help.
Yeah, you have a mute button somewhere.
No. Click on him, top right corner of his icon. Go into participants list.
Fourth from left.
Oh, here we go.
Click on the participants.
It just says invite.
No, click on participant, there you
There we
go.
go.
To the right,
No, it says mute. Just to unmute.
I think you get already unmuted, but there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, Paul?
He's not gonna be able.
Now it doesn't say mute anymore.
No, Paul, we can't hear you. Tarek, is your volume turned up?
Yep. It's turned up.
Okay, try again, Paul. Can you say something? Okay, I can see that Paul's talking. He gave us a thumbs up. Hopefully we can get audio fixed. I'm also an aye, so that carries. Moving on, preliminary plat, Joshua Flats, page 3. Gene or Tarek, if you want to give us an update here.
Go ahead, Gene. It was a short meeting.
Yeah, it was short. We didn't have any opposition to the plat, and the hearing was, yeah, it just all happened. What the plan is for a subdivision of another property, so that he can sell that parcel.
Okay.
Parcel.
You know. Okay. Any further discussion on that? This is the Crayons property with the flagpole
Right.
shop, and essentially they want to sell the vacant lot behind it, which is technically not yet a vacant lot.
Right, well, alongside of it.
Alongside it, yes. Any comments or thoughts on this? Not seeing any. I entertain a motion to approve or deny the resolution of the preliminary plat.
I'll make the motion to approve Resolution 2023-26, preliminary plat of Joshua Flats.
Motion by Hertzberg to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Soini. Any further discussion? All those in favor of approving the preliminary plat, and so indicate by saying aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
Do you need to do that by roll call?
Yeah, Megan just reminded me.
Okay.
I had sort of assumed Paul wasn't going to be able to participate. All right, roll call. Neil?
Aye.
Megan?
Aye.
Gene?
Aye.
Paul? I'm seeing a thumbs up from Paul.
Yeah.
I'm also an aye, so that motion does carry. All right. Going on to page 39, give me a second to get there. It's the wage study. This is coming back, if you'll recall, it was on our agenda a few weeks ago, maybe a month and a half or so ago. We pulled it at that time because I had told Public Works that I would sit down with them and have a meeting, which Neil and I did that. Got some more information on what they were requesting. The concern was that by Budget and Finance was concerned that by going to an 11 grade scale down from 17, that it was going to cost the city a sizable amount of money. I don't remember exactly what Belinda quoted, but it was a sizable sum. The Public Works employees were concerned that it was not nearly as much as what Belinda was thinking that it would be. There was also some concern that Belinda had raised that employees would be losing money if we put them at the closest wage to where they are now. I took a look following our meeting with Public Works. I took the opportunity to go through the employee scale, compare it to the DDA proposed scale. And what I did is I put everyone not on the closest wage to what they have now, but the closest wage above what they have now. And that's the spreadsheet that's in front of you. On the far right, you'll see that there were 3 positions that would be losing salary, and that's because all 3 of those positions are currently tapped out on their steps. And that by going to this new system, they would still be topped out, but the new scale would be lower than what the current scale is. So that includes, there are some positions on there where I don't want to give names or positions because I think that's a data issue, but there were a few that would be losing almost $1 or over 50 cents an hour if we adopted this across the city. I don't have Belinda's magic formulas to figure out which account all of these would come from, but if you just add up the increase based on the averaged hours worked, not including those that would lose money, because I suspected that if this were to pass, we would just leave those people out of it. So if you just tallied up the increase, it would be an additional labor cost of about $22,000 per year to the city. That would be divided between the liquor store budget, the general fund, the various public works budgets, airport, all the other EDAP, things like that. So that's not $22,000 coming out of the general budget. That's across the board, is that $22,000. The recommendation out of Budget and Finance was to leave this as an option for upcoming union negotiations. We promised Public Works that this would come back here, so that's why it's here, so that we can discuss it with all of the information. I myself, it's not so much when you're looking at, some of these are as low as 21 cents increase, 72 at the high end, $1.28 for one. When you take them individually, it's not a lot, but when you add them all up together, it's a sizable increase that's not included in next year's budget. Next year's budget is one where the Budget and Finance Committee spent a lot of time getting the proposed levy increase down from an initial, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think it was about 25 or 30% proposed increase. And the latest recommendation is to come to the council with about an 8.5. Again, don't quote me on that. I don't have them in front of me, but that's approximately right. So
I think this is pretty much the consensus that Policy and Procedure had also.
it is, yeah.
And top of paragraph 2, Belinda had 22,000. So that's exact right there.
Yeah, and I did talk to Belinda a little bit about this. She gave me some of her formulas as to how her numbers would affect the different budgets. I told her that my numbers were similar but not exact because she and I were putting some of the data in a little bit different. She had exact hours. I just estimated as far as like the liquor store clerks. I estimated those at 30 hours a week across the board. I know Belinda actually took historical data and calculated that. So I was able to reproduce what Belinda had. The concern with the individuals that Neil and I spoke to was that Belinda's numbers were inaccurate. I wasn't able to show any inaccuracy. Things looked on par when I did the numbers myself.
What did Public Works say when you told them? that the woman was right or whatever.
I have not had the chance to talk to them about that yet.
Well, the union negotiations start next year, but it's not till the year after, so they're still gonna be.
Well, hopefully we can negotiate the next year and be ready to go by January of '25.
I think the one thing I will also add, the 22,000 number that I have in here, that is only looking at the 2024 rate. It's a little bit different, it's a little bit higher if you put in the 3%. So like next year, there's going to be a 3% increase over current wages. So if we enacted this now, we'd be looking at so much now, plus 3% on top of that for next year.
But now that 3% should be budgeted.
Yes, for current wages, it is budgeted, yes.
Well, I think I'll make the motion to not change the step and grade system at this time, but to reserve the option to negotiate it in upcoming union negotiations next year.
So motion by Hertzberg as stated on the action sheet. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Soini. Any further discussion?
But we lost Paul.
I will say, Gene, to answer your question, between the middle of October and the week before last, I did 4 separate trials and prepped another one plus numerous pleadings. So
No, it's.
this, it's not for a lack of Public Works' effort. This is just my schedule, not being able to sit down and crunch numbers until recently. So if we
Well-
wanted to sit down and talk with them again and bring this back in our next meeting, we could, but I also don't want to kick the can down the road if we're all largely of the opinion that this is where it's going to land.
Well, even if we were to implement it, I wouldn't do it till January anyway. I mean, we wouldn't do it for the rest of this year. That, do it.
All right, calling the question then, same order, Neil. Question, or the motion again is to not change the step and grade system at this time, reserving the option to include it in negotiations in the upcoming union talks.
Aye.
Okay, Megan,
Aye.
Jean,
I'll go aye.
okay. Paul. Okay, again, a thumbs up for Councilmember Thielen, and it will be an aye for me as well. The motion does carry.
Technology.
Oh, I heard a crackle. Is that all coming? No?
That was someone's chair.
Okay.
So then we're revisiting the ordinance regarding hours at Gazebo Park. Looking to approve ordinance number 48, third series. This is something we discussed, published, posted, and all that fun stuff. So now we're looking for a motion to approve the ordinance modification.
I'll move to approve ordinance number 48, third series.
We have a motion by Brick. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Soini. Any further discussion? Calling roll. Neil.
I'd be happier at 10, but the recommendation is 11, so I'll be aye.
Okay. Megan.
Aye.
Jean.
Aye.
Paul. Again, I'm seeing a thumbs up indicating an aye, and it's an aye for me as well. Okay, moving on then. Allison, would you mind taking the podium? That's the word I can't think of. Right. All right, so Allison's here from the Community Service Center. I'm just reading off my sheet, and Allison, fill me in where I'm missing things here. You're looking for a parade permit on Saturday the 2nd from 5 to 5:30, going down Lake, Railroad, Washburn, DeMille to Stearns, around the nursing home, and then back to Washburn, ending at Gazebo Park. Along with that, we need a street closure for the parade route. We need a street closure for Washburn in front of Gazebo Park. and seeking use of Gazebo Park. We've received the necessary certificate of insurance, and I know you've talked to the chief about a parade escort and other things in order to get streets closed.
Correct.
What am I missing?
You've got it.
Okay.
That's what I'm
It's
looking
taken care of now, so that's a, good-
Yeah,
that's a bonus
and
right there.
for that,
Yep.
Approval to run later.
Okay, let me just take, I had a question.
I had a question, I don't know if it's on this poster, but about your chili fundraiser.
Yes.
So I've done the watching the super exciting videos on food safety for the Night to Unite every year.
Yes.
So I just wondered if you guys needed any assistance with that, or do you have that already? Is it?
Yep, no, Rob from Roadside Tavern has been helping with that.
Oh, sure.
And Rob will be taking care of that.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, just because I know what a delight
Oh, yeah.
that is. So
For sure.
that was my only question. Thank you.
And then there was a note on here that you were working with the county on the closure at Business 23 in Washburn.
Correct.
Any update on that?
I believe it was taken care of. I haven't heard anything back.
Okay.
I believe it was taken care of.
The county's waiting for us to formally approve.
Okay,
Right.
so
Once we
then
formally approve, then they will.
Correct.
they've got it. All right.
I
Any,
hope it's a great event.
Oh, it's something like it's going really, really good.
how many floats do you have so far?
My goal was 10 to 15. We're hitting 20. We're hitting 20. We have a few saying, can we still enter late? You bet we can.
Oh, yeah.
There's always room to grow. You bet.
Yeah. And they're all lighted then, all the floats are?
Everybody's going to light up.
Yeah.
We have 8 of them that are doing music that are also going to participate.
Oh, cool.
And most of them are adding characters. Some of them will just kind of continue on and just be done. And then the ones with the main characters are going to stay at Gazebo for picture options.
Awesome.
Right. So then, we have a number of motions. Jen has it put all into just one action item for us. So, with that, if there's any other questions for Allison to discuss, otherwise we'd be looking for a motion to approve the Community Service Center's Scuba Train Parade, street closures, allowing the use of Gazebo Park and the fire pit until 8, which is, may or may not be past the closing hour of dusk at this point.
Dusk is noon these days.
We just
so-
approved it anyway. till-
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the fire pit to 11.
I'll make the motion to approve the Painesville Community Service Center's WUBA Train Parade. Street closures and allow them to use the Gazebo Park and fire pit until 8 PM.
Motion by Soini, do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Hertzberg. Okay, because I love the story, can you explain the Uba train name?
The way we came up with the Huba train is we usually do the Hubalation every year. And as everybody knows the history here, we've been trying to get the train to come to Painesville. I've been after that train for 18 years. I'm finally hanging up my hat. It's not coming to Painesville. They have replied back why. The train will never reach Painesville before 10 PM. We know where all the little ones are gonna be at 10 PM. So I thought, why don't we kick this up a little bit and make our own? I totally understand what people are looking for and what they want, is they want to join together and have all of us unite as one. So my goal is to try and fire up all of Painesville, and we've been working on that. We started a wonderful group for the holiday season of everyone to group in. We tried to rodeo everybody into kind of the same time. It didn't work out. We realized that maybe it's easier if things did events all month long. So our main goal was to try to put all events into the month of December, and we kick it off. So with leading of the Christmas tree lighting, my goal was to circle back around, and that's where it should end. If it starts at the tree, it should end at the tree. So that is kind of where we came up with our path. We're just looking at trying to expand each year and trying to get everybody to group together. So that's kind of what our goal is trying to do the Huba train instead of just the Hubalation, and kind of routing it out where we can all join together and get everybody on the same page, is what our goal is for Christmas.
Thank you
Hopefully
so
it'll be
much.
warmer.
Yeah.
It says it's gonna warm up the end of the week.
We'll see.
We're all right.
Chilly.
30s are fine.
30s, I'm good. I'm good. And I saw 30, so far we're good.
Thanks, Allison. We have a motion as stated on the action sheet. Any other discussion? Okay, I'll call the roll. Neil?
Aye.
Megan?
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
And it's an aye for me. Okay, you're good to go, Allison.
Thank you very much.
Was there still, Paul, do we still need officers closing down the stoplight?
Yeah,
Or is the county
so,
gonna take care of that?
no. So I will have my officer that's working, shut that down, and I'll be in to lead the parade.
Okay.
And then we will use barricades for the rest of them.
Right, on then to the liquor licenses on page 53. We've received liquor license applications from Queen Bees and the American Legion. Looking to approve those. Again, we can't see them because of the private data contained on them.
I'll make the motion to approve the on-sale liquor and Sunday liquor licenses for Queen Bees and the Painesville American Legion.
I'll second.
Right, motion by Hertzberg, seconded by Brick. Any further discussion on these? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
No, stop. Aye, cops. Neil.
Yeah.
Aye.
Megan.
Aye.
Gene.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
And that's an aye from me. All right. I'll get the hang of this by the time we're done.
Yeah. Only a couple more.
Yeah, we only have a couple more, so we're almost there.
All right.
Let's go.
Tarek, on the prosecution contracts, sir.
All right, I'll give a brief reminder or summary here, and then I'll leave it to the chief to kind of fill in the blanks there. But we discussed, since Bill Spooner would like to stop doing the prosecution services for the city, preferably by year end, so beginning January 1st, we need to find someone else. I did contact 3 entities in the beginning, which was the City of St. Cloud Attorney's Office, Stearns County Attorney Office, and another law firm that Bill referred me to, but they declined because they're too busy. And then when we met to discuss this at Budget and Finance, we said the 2 proposals we received were from Stearns County and City of St. Cloud. Stearns County came in at $15,300. St. Cloud came in at $35,000. This is for the year, unlimited for both. However, the City of St. Cloud was adding some additional services to it that Stearns County was not. And we said the chief thought that he may be able to get a 3rd quote to review. So we said we will approve the Stearns County quote unless the chief has another proposal for us. He went out and tried to get a 3rd proposal. That entity, or I think the city, also declined because they're too busy. Then, of course, I heard from the City of St. Cloud that they would like our business and they want to give us a counter. I said, if you want to give us a counter, it better be sometime soon because we are discussing. They did come back and they gave us another quote. And I know Paul has spoken with both of them, so he will give you an update on that before we can. Did I say it all? I know I missed something.
I think you got most of it. So we had reached out to, just to kind of follow up, we had reached out to the city of Cold Spring. They were the other city in the county that was still using a 3rd party. I'm guessing that 3rd party might have been the same one that Bill gave Tarek, because when I spoke with them, they're now in search of a new city attorney as well, because they just don't have the staff anymore. So Tarek had reached out to the city of St. Cloud and spoke with them, just because there was a little bit of disparity within the difference in the numbers, and had talked with Renee. She did come back with a different quote. I've talked with Renee extensively. She is extremely interested in getting the city of Painesville's business. I also spoke with the county attorney, Janelle Kendall, today, and discussed this with her. The discussion largely centered on kind of what some of the services were. City of St. Cloud is providing a few additional services within their contract, specifically ordinance violation stuff that they will handle. They'll also look at gun permits that are maybe questionable to determine whether or not, in fact, they do or do not meet the criteria, which potentially could take some liability off the city. It is my recommendation that the best fit, even though it's more expensive, is to go with the city of St. Cloud attorneys. We've got a very good working relationship with them. In my conversations with County Attorney Kendall today, I advised her that so she wasn't blindsided, that was going to be my recommendation tonight, even though they had the lower bid. But I reaffirmed with her that regardless of which way the city council chose to go, that the Paynesville Police Department as a whole is looking to continue our cooperative working relationship with them. They are still responsible for our gross misdemeanor felony level violations, so we will continue to work closely with them. As far as the costs go, both of these amounts are actually under what the current budget is for the 2024 for legal services.
So if there are things that are not being covered by the Stearns County Attorney versus the St. Cloud City Attorney, are we potentially, would we have to come up with that 9,000 and some change anyway to, like, you know, piece those out to other people, or?
Well, how
are
many
these things
ordinance
that come up a
violations
lot?
did we have?
Is that all that it is, or is it just in civil legal work? What are we talking about here? That's,
It's
I guess,
ordinance violations and then a review of gun permits. So I
Okay.
don't know, I mean, how many ordinances did we prosecute last year?
Criminally, honestly, I'm gonna guess
It'd be-
zero.
Well, no. So we've had animal violations, winter parking violations when people don't pay, repeatedly don't pay. We issue them state citations. How many of those actually end up in Bill's hands and in the court? I think most of the people just pay, but we've had some fairly lengthy, like animal, dogs at large, barking dogs in the past. I would say it's a handful. You know, does it meet the potential 9,500? Don't know.
So how, I mean, within the last year, we've done, what, 0 for guessing? Maybe 5, 10 at the most?
I mean, I can't remember any in the last year. But the chief is definitely correct. We've had some.
Right.
And, you know, and, yeah, so there have been a few over the years that we've had for sure. But,
Yep.
Yep. It's hard for me, you know, like I looked at the difference and I don't know enough about, you know, I mean, there's some things that the city's gonna do. It's hard for me to put a value on it. You know, if you're just gonna purely compare the dollars, I mean, the training part, I don't know, there's some value in that, but I don't know how you value it, but the police training would be the one where I think there might be the most value. The other stuff, I would say, it's a value, but it's not large, but that there is a value. But I don't know how to put a number on it.
It seems like a real stretch to me to say $9,700 a year to do 1 or 2 ordinance violations and maybe review a gun permit. That's all. I realize we're still lower than what we're budgeting for. But just because we come in lower doesn't mean we should spend more. I also know, I mean, in my past conversations with Janelle Kendall, she's expressed interest in having this contract. So I think there is probably just as strong an interest there as there is with the city of St. Cloud in getting the contract. $9,700 is a lot of money a year to get. I don't know that I can quantify it and how we get there.
Are we ready for a motion on either way?
I guess what I can tell you from my perspective is, in talking with both entities, I saw far more interest out of the city of St. Cloud than I did out of Stearns County. And Janelle reiterated to me that, you know, they would like our business today when I talked with her. But I just don't think that enthusiasm is quite there. And when I look at it from what's in the best interest of the city, I'm looking for somebody who wants the business. And yes, there's still more, but the city of St. Cloud dropped $10,000 off this to try and entice the city to do it. That tells me that that's somebody who is genuinely interested in seeking our business.
Is the St. Cloud one also guaranteed for 2 years contract? That's what the Stearns County one says.
Bill, you've read it. I don't know
Okay.
if hers is that or not, Gene.
So what does the training updates for law enforcement entail?
Well, it's going to be training on any new laws that are there, DWI laws, any sort of, new case law that's coming out, that sort of thing.
Is it okay if I speak up?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, voice.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep, go ahead, Paul.
Okay, after reading the report of over 5,500 cases that St. Cloud prosecutes every year, I feel more comfortable with the city of St. Cloud giving us more of their attention than Stearns County, being that we're in the west end. It seems like we're left out more often than not. And if just the sheer amount of cases that the city of St. Cloud goes through every year, I just have to believe that they're going to give us more attention, and we're going to have a good chance to work with the prosecutors, the police department and the prosecutors. I think that they'll get more attention than they would through the county. That's my thoughts on that.
Well, I think, hasn't Janelle told you that if there's any issues, you can just call her directly on this?
Correct.
Yeah. So we've got, as part of the county contract, an open line to the county attorney if there's ever an issue.
We have that same line with St. Cloud.
So,
Renee Courtney and I have a really good working relationship.
I can't justify the $9,700. I think, unless somebody else has something new to be said, it's time for a motion. But that's where I'm at on this.
Well, if that's what everybody seems to want to do, then I guess if it's guaranteed for 2 years, there's a possibility of us, or whomever, reassessing when that contract is up to see if it's worked out
Yep.
as well as we'd hoped. And if not, then there's a possibility of deciding to go another route.
Is that a motion?
No, it was a thought.
Stearns County is a 2-year contract.
Yep.
Yep. What if we want to get out of it sooner, though?
Yeah, and that's
The
A year goes by
agreement
quick.
says either party can terminate on 60 days' notice.
60
Okay.
A
days.
year flies by.
Well, I guess if we can do on 60 days notice if it's not working out, I think that would be apparent.
I can go either way.
Yeah.
Who will determine if it's not working out? What would those parameters be?
I don't know that, that might just be one of those things that you'll know it when you see it.
That's what I was thinking, is that you know
Apparent.
when you know. And we can schedule an agenda item for late September, early October of next year and say, let's review this and see what it looks like.
We could do that.
This almost feels like we need to have a working session on this topic.
We don't have time. Need to have it done by the end of the year.
Well, I will call for a motion, whoever wants to make one.
I see we're all jumping at the motion.
Yay.
Because I don't know what way to go.
Well, I will move to approve the proposal for prosecution services from Stearns County in the amount of $15,300 per year.
Well, I'll second it so we can vote.
Okay. Right, calling the question on the motion to approve prosecution services from Stearns County totaling $15,300 a year. Neil?
I guess I'm willing to try it for 2 years, so I'll go aye.
Okay, Megan?
Well, I'm not willing to try it for 2 years, but we can reconvene if we feel it isn't working out, I suppose, so
Jean?
I'm gonna go nay.
Paul?
I prefer to go with St. Cloud Attorney's Office.
Is that a nay?
Yes, and nay.
Okay, and I'm an aye, so the motion does carry 3-2. And then I will suggest that we put this back on an agenda for September of next year to revisit. Okay, Tarek, on the annual tree lighting event, page 60 of our.
Yeah, I just thought I'll put this on here just so we can formalize that it will be an annual city event. And of course, we'll come back every year, confirming the time and confirming with council what the plan is. But just to put it on here to say that this will be an annual event, the Saturday after Thanksgiving every year going forward.
And I would like to say too that as far as the feedback we received tonight, and if anybody has received any otherwise, I haven't, but that could just be people who aren't comfortable coming forward with it. But it's, I take complete responsibility for anything that happened that isn't on, the public works guys. It's not, it was me. So I really, really apologize for, I have 3 kids, and as everyone knows, they're half feral, so I've definitely been in that position where you can't find them. It is very scary, and I feel terrible that anybody experienced that at our event. So going forward, and it was discussed at the event, and shortly thereafter, we talked about the cords, because in the beginning, we were kind of like, well, we're not going, the guidelines were, as far as we understood them, that if you don't go under or over any sidewalks and they are stapled, then it's legally, you're good, but that doesn't always, sometimes what you have to do bare minimum isn't always in the best interest. And I think I'm the only one who tripped on one of them so far, as far as I've heard. I did not fall, which is good, I would have broken a hip. But yeah, so I think definitely going forward, we will make adjustments there. And I think last year it had been even darker, and so we'd added more light this year. Clearly it wasn't enough, or perhaps we need to move it a little earlier. So going forward, the safety is of course paramount there, and going forward we will look into that. And again, I apologize for anything that happened and anything that anybody experienced that just wasn't favorable, because that's never what we want, of course.
I too thought it was awfully dark.
It was dark. I don't know if it was just colder but yeah, it got very dark very fast.
And
So
I couldn't see, and being my age, I didn't want
yes,
to fall and
we'll
trip either.
definitely need to take that into consideration.
That was my biggest
Yeah,
thought too.
whether
is
we
it
need
was
to move
awfully
it
dark.
earlier or just make sure we have much more
Or have
illuminated
some
to
of
begin
the
with.
trees
Yeah,
up around.
yes,
Am I allowed
absolutely.
to pipe in just for a second? Because now I'm just wondering, with our event coming up, is it okay if we kind of move some of that around to kind of tone that down a little bit? So we do lighten it up and move a few cords, or is that going to be an issue?
I think that's something to talk about with Ron and Tarek throughout the week. And
Yeah.
figure out.
They can
I
figure out what to
think
do there.
whatever we need to do to make it safe, we will accommodate, but let's just, so, not here,
Yep.
but let's revisit.
If you can bring more lights, that'll be great.
Oh, wonderful, yeah.
So
Um,
that might solve the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will say, so, those of you who know Erica know that she would never let me put words into her mouth, but I will just assure you that I didn't know what she was going to say. I didn't know what she was talking about, but not what she was going to say.
Sure.
I have heard complaints from people who tripped and who fell, both on the wires and on the guidelines for the tree. So it was out there. One of the concerns I had is who takes the liability for any injuries that may have happened. And thank God we didn't have any. But It wouldn't be the city though, because the city never approved it. And that was me
Approve
putting,
the tree lighting.
no, we didn't.
I don't know if, I don't.
We never did.
It's like in the past, we've talked about it and it's just kind of been, because I know when we first did it the first year, it was just kind of with spirit of the season, and then it became sort of the thing that was just on the tail end of the chamber. So I don't know if, because.
Well, last year, I know we approved it
Yes.
because we
Approved it last
discussed
So,
the tree and all that
yes,
stuff.
yes,
But we
indeed.
didn't do it this year, and I couldn't help but think that as I put my lawyer hat on, that if something had happened, I would be asking that the organizer of the event take the liability for it. And that's why I think it's important. And let me say, I love this event. Let's continue to build it and do it right. But it needs to go through, and I think that we need to do it not annually and set this as an annual thing, but that we need to set it every year. And part of that is because Megan's not gonna be here for 100 years to take care of this event.
Sure about
At
that.
some
Joke's
point,
on you, buddy.
at some point,
She'll do it as a citizen.
I'm not even saying as an elected official. I'm saying that there are only two certainties in life, taxes and death.
Yeah.
And at some point, so I think we need to have,
Sounds awfully sinister over there, Mr. Mayor.
I'm
So
not saying that we expedite things.
I
I'm
think
just saying
that
it's
we
inevitable
should
that it happens.
do it from year to year, that's fine. In which case, I would like to set it for next year fairly soon as,
I think it's something that the Park and Tree should plan out, just like the Environmental Committee plans out the.
yeah. Well, we definitely had several conversations in Park and Tree about this. So our next Park and Tree is not until February. So would that work, Ron, if we went that route, or?
Sure, that'd be fine.
Okay, thank you.
I am going to, we need to do these events together. Allison's got what looks to be a great event, but it's gonna draw people in. The tree lighting drew people in, it was a great event. We can go bigger and better if we do them together. And I know that because Friday night, my family was up in Bemidji with my in-laws. They had a Christmas parade followed by a tree lighting. It was shoulder to shoulder with people on those streets. You could not walk, you couldn't do anything. It was packed full of people on the coldest day of the year so far. Everyone was out there because they had these massive events. There was the parade, they had Santa during the day, they had fireworks after the tree lighting. These are things that we can do if we all work together and do it. So I think going forward, if Park and Tree wants to do it, or if we can get a nonprofit, we think that's the one thing that Bemidji had going, is it was a local 501c3 that manages everything and does it. But holy cow, if we can put Painesville on the map like that. I mean, I took pictures and I was hoping to share them, but we'll take Paul off the screen if I do it. But
Nobody wants
It also is
that.
a much bigger community.
But there were
And-
thousands of people who came in from out of town for it.
Well, yeah, they got
So,
Indian reservation, everything there.
but I mean, as I looked, we walked for 5 or 6 blocks to where we stood and watched it. And for those 5 or 6 blocks, it was shoulder to shoulder people. It was like walking through the state fair in the
But they
middle
also
of
did
the
it the
winter.
weekend of Thanksgiving.
But I think if we do all of these things together, I don't care when, let's just do them all together. Yeah.
I really think that not the Saturday or Friday after Thanksgiving. I think another week, because a lot of people, myself included, were out of town at relatives through Saturday. And I wanted to attend, and so I don't think Thanksgiving weekend is probably people are with their families, which is fine for the people that come here. But the people that are away,
But traditionally,
Yes, sir.
tree lightings are Thanksgiving.
We discussed that in the past, and it was because,
whenever.
And it isn't just
because
here,
it's Small
all over the
Business
country.
Saturday. Yeah, because it's Small Business Saturday.
That was why.
Yeah, it works
Something
best to work with the
tied to
chamber
Small
on
Business
then,
Saturday.
so.
I would like, I mean, the city of Richmond is doing a winter event on Thursday or Friday.
Friday.
And that's hosted by their chamber.
Yes, it's all.
I would love to see our chamber do something like that here as well, but I know that's been poo-pooed in the past.
Well, we can ask them again.
I think that event, if you look at the flyers, they have various events all hosted and sponsored by different businesses. Got people out there looking at it. It's a perfect chamber opportunity. So, I don't know, I think that's perfect tourism money as well, but I clearly don't know the regulations of how that money can be used, so.
I don't know if anybody does. It seems like kind of mystical and it changes from time to time.
Primarily advertising.
Yep.
Well, on this, I would prefer, and I'll entertain, we can entertain a motion if somebody wants to make one.
No,
But
let's
my
do
thought
that.
is that it should go through a city committee so that it's a group effort in it, and that we approve it every year. We can approve it in September or something like that, even if the planning is occurring well before.
We'll take it to Park and Tree and we'll discuss it and make, bring it back when the time is right for formalization of that year.
Anybody got any other thoughts on
No,
that?
that's fine.
All right, then we have our in-code reports and financial things on the informational. They're all on the website. Keep in mind, Mediacom's changing its programming and raising its rates again. At least I'm assuming it's a raised rate. In
Yeah,
fairness, I haven't looked at it.
no, it is increased.
It's not like they're gonna drop it. And then we have our meeting schedules there as well. All right, thank you, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving for those I didn't talk to then.
Look at how good
Be
that
in
baby
touch.
is.
We're not
I
done.
know. Why are you not bringing them up here and showing
Yeah,
them?
we're not-
Well disciplined.
We're not done yet.
Are we
Oh, no,
scratching
no,
the
no.
closed session?
Business is done.
Yeah.
I got distracted by the baby.
Yeah, we gotta see the baby, because he has to leave now, because we're on a closed session.
Yeah, then we'll have a closed session. Is somebody willing to make a motion to go into a closed session?
Somebody please.
I'll move.
Okay, so moved by Megan. Do we have a second?
Second.
And I see that Paul is gone,
He's coming back, he had to move location.
but he's gone now.
Yep.
All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, so then we're gonna kick you out because we're gonna go into a closed session.
But we wanna see
What?
the baby first.
Yeah.
As long as you brought him
And if we
or
need
her.
to keep a 6-foot distance, we just gonna
Oh,
Cecilia.
Cecilia, oh, look at how tiny she is.
Oh,
She's little.
she is so little.
Yeah. Good, yourself?
I was gonna say,
7
what?
weeks?
Congratulations.
Wow.
I'll be around. Not too early.
So you,
Good daddy.
that's
Try not to
right.
wake her up.
Getting closer and closer to 9.
Yeah.
Bye. Yeah. I like that guy.
All right, are we back on?
I haven't gotten a thumbs up from Kristen yet, but I'm assuming so.
You good, Kristen?
Ah, there it is.
All right,
Okay.
so we are back on at 7:14.
Yep, so we are back in open session. We discussed the offer that was received by the city at 311 Washburn Avenue. We have decided that we are going to contact the seller to arrange a site tour, which will be posted as a public meeting. We're going to invite the library board along with the township board and the couple of city staff. So we'll post that meeting, get that done. Following that meeting, the council will reevaluate this offer. Take it from there. Well, with that, there being no further business, we are adjourned. Okay.
So you might not need to go back.
Your envelopes, guys,